Hello everyone. So I've never done a video like this before. However, I find it extremely important to think about and to discuss what I'm going to be mentioning. Now, my target audience are the Bolivians living around the world. This is why I'm doing this video in English, as I know all of you guys speak excellent English, and I'd also like to reach out to anyone else that would like to help. So I know that at the beginning of everything that happened in Bolivia, and that's been happening since the election, we received very limited coverage. Also, the coverage has been augmenting slowly. However, I really think that we can all make an effort to increase this coverage, to increase the awareness, and to increase the pressure that we're putting on the government from international means. Now, what I've been doing for these past few weeks is that I've been contacting, emailing, calling, anything really, news agencies that I can think of around the world. I've also been contacting Congress people, representatives of Florida, for example. Truly anyone that I think could put the diplomatic and the diplomatic pressure or the international eye further on Bolivia. What we're going through in Bolivia is extremely grave. It's extremely difficult. It's something that truly is a threat to us as the people and to our country in general. We're on the brink of losing our democracy and we cannot accept it. So I truly urge any of you watching, whether you're from Bolivia or not, but especially the Bolivians, to please make some time and possibly contact news agencies, contact newspapers, contact broadcasting or podcasts. Like, you know, today actually a really good friend of mine from London told me that she was looking for podcasts that explain what is happening in Bolivia. And I realized, like, I didn't even think of that. So I will definitely contact podcast makers and try to inform them as well, and try to just spread the awareness, spread the talk about Bolivia. Now, why is this so important? As Bolivians and as a country that's going through all these atrocities that the government is doing to us, we need to think about how we can put pressure on this government, how we can truly bring this clinical eye into the country, or into the situation rather, which would help us in our fight for democracy. Now, why is that important? Well, we are right now fighting for just our rights, fighting for the respect to our constitution. We have been in dictatorships before, but we gained our democracy and we will not lose it. We cannot allow any government to take this away from us. Now, we've seen movements in all of Latin America that are going into this dictatorial, authoritarian type of rule. And we cannot let this happen in Bolivia. We cannot let this continue spreading. We know that, well, Cuba, of course, has been under a complete dictatorship for so long. Then this moved on to Venezuela, Nicaragua, Honduras. We see all these types of governments that are truly putting a facade of socialism and using that to enter these dictatorial type of rules. And we cannot let this continue. This is abusive. This is completely against all that we ever voted for or wanted as a population or as Latin Americans. And we have to stop this movement. So truly, if we continue putting pressure, if we continue raising this awareness of what's really going on, if we continue bringing this clinical eye that would put the pressure on the government, that would put a closer look on Bolivia and the situation, if we continue doing this as Bolivian people, truly we can make a difference. This will make a difference. Now, I know a lot of my friends across the world that are Bolivian have been telling me, like, oh, we feel so impotent, we cannot do anything from so far, we wish we could be home. Yes, I understand that. I also wish I could be home, especially because I'd like to protect my mom, protect my family. I'm extremely scared. But truly, we can still make a difference from this far location that we find ourselves in. And the way we can do this is through the contact we can make with different agencies, with different international organizations, with truly anyone. And I'm going to show you guys right now kind of what type of document I made to organize myself, how I've been contacting different agencies, different news personas, different Congress people, different international organizations, human rights organizations, everything, because we truly have to denounce the atrocities and the human rights abuses this government is doing. And we're not the only ones. We're not the first ones. Okay, so if we don't put a halt to this type of really disgusting type of movement we're falling into as Latin America, if we do not win this battle, truly, the entire Latin America is at risk of falling into the same thing. And eventually that's the plan. As I've previously explained, this is the plan. This is the plan they've had for over 30 years. So please, I'm just sending this in order to bring up ideas, to give ideas to you guys as Bolivians around the world. And please just make some time and continue contacting. So over here, I'm just going to show you a little bit of what I've been doing. This morning, I was on the phone with Human Rights Watch, and I've been writing to them quite a bit lately. So I'm making an email right now. Then here's a document I prepared. I've contacted in these past few weeks about like 30 sources. So over here we can see a few news agencies, important people like people in Congress, politicians across the world, international organizations, human rights organizations, the UN, etc., etc. And over here, I'd just like to show you guys the effects that we can have. So ABC News, for example, I believe it's over here. No. ABC News, for example, truly had no coverage on Bolivia whatsoever. I talked to them on the phone a few times about 5 days ago. I've been sending them videos, images, information, a lot of emails. And lately, these past like 2 days, they posted already 2 articles about the situation. So this is huge, I must admit. This is really great. Then the Washington Post, of course, I've been emailing them quite regularly. Independent, The Guardian. Here's another one by ABC News, made today. So I'm extremely glad about this. This is really kind of making our reach become much wider and bringing a wider-eyed lens to the situation in Bolivia. So here are just a few examples of the many that I've noticed. Actually, Al Jazeera has been posting a lot of frequent updates, which I'm extremely glad about. What else? These are just a few examples. And I'd like to say that I have been working with NBC. They're another company I've been contacting frequently, as well as BBC. And I'm trying to kind of push for there to be more television coverage, because currently we have mainly articles written about Bolivia, but not much TV coverage. So here are just a few more examples. As you can see, we truly can make a difference. We can put information out there. We can help. Oh yeah, the New York Times released something very good today. So that was extremely great. The BBC, I had at least 10 calls with BBC News, BBC New York, DC, Miami, and I've been sending them all types of information in the form of emails and on the calls. So I'm extremely glad to see these are effects. I know, like, obviously I'm not all they're using, but we can contribute as Bolivians. As you can see here, they posted this yesterday, and I was talking to them throughout the entire week. So here's the New York Times, etc., etc., etc. So I urge you to truly take a little bit of time out of your day to do this. It's extremely helpful, and it's going to put in this international type of pressure that we need as Bolivians. We need to get a wider-eyed lens, a clinical eye into the situation of what is going on, as this will help us in our fight for democracy. Now, something that's extremely important that I would like to add and to tell you guys is keeping your anonymity. Please keep yourselves anonymous. The reason being that unfortunately we are from a country and we are under a government's rule, a government that is completely, moralless, ethicless. We're under dictatorship. And as all authoritarian governments, they do not want to let anyone talk badly about them, of course. So please don't let yourselves be the target of threats. Don't let your family become the target of threats. Please keep your safety in mind. And this is what I'm doing. Every email I send, I ask to keep my anonymous type of stance. Why? Because I don't want my family to be at risk. I don't want myself to be at risk, and especially do so if you have family or people you love in Bolivia, or friends, or just people you care about in Bolivia. The government knows, they know everything, and they will find out everything. So be anonymous. That's my kind of top advice. And I've known people that haven't been anonymous, that have gone out and that have done their part, but they received threats. And this is awful, but it's a reality. So keep that in mind as well. If you're going to move, keep the momentum. And that's what we should all do. We should all keep the momentum currently, because this is a fight of all Bolivians, not only in Bolivia, but across the world. We may not be in Bolivian soil. We may not be fighting day to day with the atrocities happening. However, we are fighting, and we need to continue the momentum. We need to continue the awareness. We need to continue keeping up with all that's happening. Because at the end of the day, social media is great. Social media does a lot, but we can do more. It's great to post on social media. It's great to raise awareness. But at the end of the day, how many followers do we have? How many people do we reach? Really not that many. In a global scale, really nothing. So keep that in mind, and please keep the momentum. Thank you very much for listening, and goodbye. So I'd like to end this video with a more personal note for everyone that watched it. I know that you guys are from all over the world, speak very many different languages, so this is the reason for this ending. Pour tous mes amis français, pour tous mes amis suisses, haïtiens, tout ce qui parle français basiquement, je vous remercie infiniment de ma part, mais de la part de tous les Boliviens aussi, pour toute votre aide, votre soutien et tout ce que vous faites, vraiment, c'est très gentil. For my Czech friends, na všechny moje kamarádky česky děkuju moc. Můžeme všechny dělat něco, tak pomoc a děkuju moc. And for all my Arabic speaking friends, I know you all speak English, so atamana musa adetakum kulikum wa shukran. Y claro, para todos mis amigos bolivianos, mis amigos hispanoparlantes, les agradezco un montón por ver el video. Espero que realmente nos pongamos a pensar más en lo que dije y pensar cómo podemos ayudar desde donde estemos en el mundo, porque realmente sí lo podemos hacer, sí podemos contribuir, y por eso estoy haciendo este video, para que realmente todos hagamos nuestra parte, que no importa que no estemos en Bolivia, lo que importa es cómo nos movemos y cuán rápido lo hacemos, porque no podemos perder el momentum, no podemos perder el enfoque que tenemos ahorita, porque estamos en el riesgo mayor de perder nuestra democracia, que es algo que nos costó tanto ganar en nuestra historia, y sería realmente algo muy grave perderla y caer como muchos países que desafortunadamente sí han caído con este tipo de gobiernos. Así que por favor, a todos ustedes, a los hispanoparlantes, les agradecería mucho que realmente tomen todo eso en cuenta y tomen mis sugerencias para ojalá también hacer lo que estoy tratando de hacer. Pero eso. Entonces, muchas gracias. Les mando un gran saludo de Miami. Y bueno, gracias realmente.